whenever you want to cut any fabric or whatever style you want to cut, please ensure you pay attention to the pattern of the fabric. If the rose is this way, please make sure you're placing your pattern and you're cutting it this way, not placing the pattern and you're cutting it this way. If the rose is this way, please make sure you're... So guys, in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a skirt. If you haven't seen my how to draft a pattern skirt, you should go and see that video. I'm going to try to link it up here, somewhere here. Know how to draft it and you have seen that video, you are welcome to today's video. And if you're here to subscribe, I would love you to click that cute red button that says subscribe to my channel. While you're at it, don't forget to turn on the bell so you don't miss any post whenever it comes live on my channel. So guys, let's get into cutting and sewing a basic skirt. The things you will need is you'll need a pack of pins and your marking chalk. Another thing you're going to need is a sewing thread to match and a zipper. Ensure that whatever thread you're using, if you're using a zipper to make any of your dresses, ensure that the thread matches the zipper, because you cannot be using a red zipper and you're using a blue thread. It doesn't make sense. Then you'll be needing measuring tapes. You're going to be needing a pair of scissors and this fabric. If you guys remember this fabric from the how to make a fabric face mask, the next thing you need is your pattern paper for your basic skirts. We're going to be starting with the center front. Whenever you want to cut any fabric or whatever style you want to cut, please ensure you pay attention to the pattern of the fabric. So you guys can see that there is a very cute pattern. There's a very cute pattern just at the end of the fabric, and I would actually want this part of the pattern to be at the end of the fabric, at the hem, you know, position, or from my knee to my hem position of the fabric. So in a nutshell, I want this part of the fabric to be down while this part of the fabric should be up. So when you're cutting fabrics, ensure you pay attention to the pattern. If the rose is this way, please make sure you're placing your pattern and you're cutting it this way, not placing the pattern and you're cutting it this way. I don't know if you guys get it. To be taking my pattern, this is my front pattern, this is the hem, and this is the hip line, and this is the waist. So remember I said I want the hem to be this way, and if you can see, I wrote unfold. So can you guys get what I am about to do now? So I had to flip the fabric over so that I can have my fold in this exact same line. So remember on this pattern, we already added our allowances on the side. So what I'm going to do now, and at the end I also wrote that remember to add 1 inch hemming allowance. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to alter this fabric just any day I decide to make a straight skirt, I'm going to go over to that line I marked, and I'm going to be folding my pattern in. Can you guys see? So it now gives me the shape of a pencil skirt. So what you're going to do is you're going to have to arrange it in such a way that your fabric is not going to waste. I don't know if you guys get. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch hem allowance to this measurement. So I already pinned the pattern down to the fabric. So what I like to do now is to go and mark the hip line. So that when I cut, I'll be able to know where it is. The next thing I want to do now is to just go ahead and cut this fabric. So I'm done cutting it. Just before you release the pattern from the dress, it is advisable for you to transfer your darts. and also notch the places you're meant to notch, so the hip and your dart. To transfer the dart, what I usually do is to put a pin at the end of the dart, and I just mark it. So I have my front skirt. I'm going to take it away and get ready for the back. For the back, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I did. So I'm going to be adding 1 inch seam allowance to the hem before cutting it, and I'm going to be marking out my dart, notching the dart and also notching the hip. So guys, I'm done cutting the skirt. So this is the front and this is the back. I already notched what I need to notch: the hip, the zipper here, and the front. The darts are notched and the hip is notched. This step I want to do now is just to make the skirt lay flat. So I'm going to be going down by 1 inch from the center. That's why I haven't released it. So from the center point, the center front of your skirt, you come down by 1 inch. You come down by 1 inch and you connect it back to the end, to the sides. I'm just going to cut it off. This is optional. You can decide to make the skirt the way it is, but this is just to give like a very flat finish around your waist or around your tummy side. And this also helps to balance up the waist, especially for people who have really big tummy. So guys, the next thing I would have loved to do is to cut my skirt band, but I always love to finish my skirt before cutting my skirt band, because sometimes these Ankara fabrics tend to stretch. And so what I like to do is to finish the entire skirt, measure the waist again, and also check if it's fitting. I don't know if you guys get, since it's my own skirt and I am sure of my measurements, once I am done sewing all the necessary allowances, I am going to wear the skirt to be sure it's fitting. Maybe it's not too tight or it's too loose. When I am completely sure of how the waist is and how fitting it is for me, I'm going to go over to measure the waist round and use that to cut my band. I'm going to be going over to my sewing machine. The first thing I want to do now is to go ahead and sew all the darts. So I'm going to be sewing all my darts, the front dart and the back darts. I'm going to close up this zip allowance, and the allowance I'm going to be leaving for the zip is about 8 inches. Depends on you. If you have a wider hip and a wider bum bum, I think leaving a zip allowance up to 10 inches will do you fine, so that when you wear your skirt, it will comfortably enter into, you know, your waist or your bum bum, or pass through your bum bum or your hip. But for me, I think I am fine with 8. I may decide to do 8, I may decide to do 9. And I'm going to be leaving a slit allowance from my hem upwards, maybe like 7 inches, because I actually want a lot of space when I am moving around. So I'm going to quickly do that and join both hips together. So one hip for one side of the back of my skirt to the front, making sure that I am sewing right side facing right side. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you guys when I am done sewing this. So you lock it at the beginning and you start to sew. So you have to sew it out. Sew it out. When sewing it that, you don't do a reverse stitch. You don't do a reverse stitch towards the depth of the dart. What you do is to knot the, when you cut off the thread from the sewing machine, you just make a knot. You could do it twice, you could do it 3 times. So as long as it is very secure, then you cut it. So I'm going to go and repeat the other darts, and I'll come back to show you what it looks like. I'm done sewing the skirts, the sides, and remember I said I was going to leave 7 inches, you know, below for the slit. I'm going to leave about 9 or 8 inches for the zipper. So the next thing I want to do now is to attach the zip, and I'm going to attach the zip. My zip is pretty long, but I'm going to be cutting it off around here. So instead of making it here, I'm going to just fix the zip from the end, and wherever it stops, I'm going to be cutting it off. So guys, you can see what I am saying. So you can't see any seam, line whatsoever. I'm going to do a dedicated video on how to sew zip, like very neat. I'm done hemming the down of the skirt. I've sewn, is done, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out my band. So this is the skirt, this is the front of the skirt, and this is the back of the skirt. I'm going to be leaving out the zip because I'm going to join my band to this part of the zip before I end up cutting it off. So I already cut my band, and another thing you need to do is to iron like an interfacing on your band. So you're going to leave out like 1/2 inch out of this place, 1/2 inch out of this place before you begin to pin, because you're going to be folding this 1/2 inch inside and sewing. So I'm going to be starting at the 1/2 inch before I begin to pin all the way round. On the band, what you're going to do is, where's my band? So the right side of the band facing the wrong side of the fabric. Can you guys see? And you pin it down. Remember, wrong side of the dress facing the right side of the band, and I'll come back to show you guys the finished work. The next thing I want to do now, remember this one, I'm going to tuck it in and close it and begin to hem round, ensuring that I close up this place. So I'm going to be removing the pins, and I'm going to be sewing all the way round the band till I get to the very end. So this is also going to help you secure the zip, because you guys have noticed I have already cut out my zipper. So while I sew, I'm going to try to close up. So I'm going to try to close up this hemline from the first time. So I'm done with sewing the band. The next thing I'm going to do now is to go and try this on, but let me show you guys what it looks like from here. So this is like an overlapping where I can put like a hook or a button. I don't have any of those supplies because of the lockdown, so I'm going to have to leave it like this. Let's just go and do a test fit and I'll come back to show you guys.